Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a little bit miserable, life can be a little bit dark, but we're here to bring you as much light and as much joy as we possibly can. And much like the Avengers, I don't know where this is going, so I'm Bradley, I'm joined by Stu. How you doing, Stu?
Not bad, yeah. I think we're like the new Avengers, basically like not as good as the originals and just crap in general.
Aren't the new Avengers Joanna Lumley and something?
Oh yeah, there are those new Avengers as well. Okay, well, you look sexy in leather then, I guess I could say.
I mean, I do. But yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since we've recorded together for various different reasons. So much has gone on, Stu. Pick a sport, any sport you want.
Olympic diving.
Yeah, tradespeople are probably banned from that now.
Not happy.
No, it's ridiculous. But what's real, again, I think we said this before a few weeks ago, it's good to see that most women that I've spoken to and heard about have just gone, nah, this is not on. We don't feel threatened by trans women in our spaces. It's just the right-wing bigots and a couple of outliers that do. So Riley Gaines still finishes fifth, even without a trans person swimming against us. So, yeah, who cares?
Exactly. Manufactured outrage. It's all just bullshit.
Yes. The football one, for all 20 people that play football that are trans.
Yeah.
Too much. No, like too much hatred, not too much trans women, obviously.
I got you.
Just in case I just I'll clarify that. But just everyone just be happy for each other. Just like let everyone live. That's all I want.
It's not much to ask, you would have thought, you know. Not much.
No.
On the positive
What we need is some kind of reform. No, we don't. We really don't.
No, let's not go there. But on the positive side of things, your team in the football won the league.
They did win the league. I'm very happy about that. Lots of other people don't seem happy about it, which is kind of funny. There's lots of people going, oh, it doesn't count because this reason, this time. And it's just like, yeah, I don't care. We're trying to get up there for the parade on the bank holiday weekend. So fingers crossed we can make that.
Yeah, what's at the end of May?
Yeah, 26th they're doing it.
Excellent.
Going to try, well, I don't think it goes past that route, but back in 2005, so exactly 20 years ago, on the 26th of May, I spent all day stood outside St George's Hall in Liverpool for that parade, getting very, very, very drunk. Be less drunk than this time.
Yeah. It's not really your thing, getting drunk, is it?
No, it was back at like 20 years ago.
How times have changed. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you know what else has changed in 20 years?
What's that?
Video games, Stu.
Oh, yeah, video games. I remember them.
Yeah. 20 years ago, Codemasters were making very, very good rally games. They're not doing that anymore because of EA.
Yeah. Oh, bloody EA. God, I can't stand them.
There's nothing's fun anymore. Nothing. Can't have fun with anything.
Yeah, feels like that sometimes. Thank God for the indies.
As we always say. And the indies show everyone how to do it better. And we'll come to that in a minute. Because I'm going to ask you first, because I've got a feeling my one's going to take a lot longer than your one. So what have you been playing, Stu?
I've been playing a game called Revenge of the Savage Planet, which is a sequel to Journey to the Savage Planet, which is like a loot grinding, terraforming, action-adventure type game. And the first game was a first-person one, and this is a third-person one. I think that's probably the biggest difference between the two. I didn't play the original one, although I was tempted because you could get it in VR. But I hadn't actually played it. But yeah, this is third-person, and it's a very cartoonish, very silly, again, like I used in the other week, wacky kind of presentation. Cartoony, light, bright, silly, lots of jokes, and none of it taken seriously, which is a breath of fresh air, as we were just alluding to.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of kind of thin strain of cynical humour in it about terraforming. It's got that Wall-E thing of, this lightness in the face of essentially an apocalypse where that you're terraforming planets because you ruin everything, and you continue basically in that vein, shooting the populace and the creatures on that planet. And when your terraforming starts, it's you've got a swanky RV as your base, and everything looks like Americana from the 50s, and it's just that whole thing of everything's bright and sunny whilst you destroy the local creatures kind of things, which is good. Works as a gag. But moment to moment gameplay is not serious in any way whatsoever. It's a mixture, a grab bag of all sorts of bits and pieces. It's like a bit No Man's Sky, but No Man's Sky light. I don't know, No Man's Ground. I don't know. Forget that one.
No, that's poor. Yeah, that's really poor, even for our standards.
I know, even for our low standards, that's bad. Well, yeah. So you've got that kind of exploration and loot gathering side from No Man's Sky. You've got kind of a bit of shooty stuff and a bit of physics stuff, and the physics stuff is more kind of like Mario Sunshine style. And you go around, grabbing stuff, getting enough items to build things using your 3D printer in your home base. And you can teleport between locations because it's a little bit Metroidvania-y in that way. And it's really kind of pleasant to look at. It's fun. The humour, again, doesn't massively connect with me, but it's, makes you smile every now and again. Light-hearted. And the challenge isn't too high either, which is good. It's more about quantity than it is about difficulty. So you've got a lot going on, a lot of objectives, and you can approach them in almost any order you want. And as long as you keep a sharp eye out, you're okay. You can scan the environment and get information on stuff, which is like one of the sources of humour in it, one of the main sources of humour, because it has a funny entry about each of the creatures, but it gives you a little bit of info on them as well. And, some things are just an obstacle, but some are also a resource. So it kind of blends that quite well. And, the intro is very, very long. I mean, I've been playing for 2 hours, and like an hour to an hour and a half of it was like intro.
Yeah.
And that's probably a little bit unnecessary because it's hardly like an earth-shattering style of game. It's not a Death Stranding, you know what I mean? But, it's entertaining so far. It's not earth-shattering. It doesn't do anything that you've not done before. But what it does in a very slick way, nicely presented, a decent strain of humour running through it, and, completely, I don't know, I don't want to say average, but, because that sounds mean. But I'm not being mean. It's just, it doesn't do anything new, but what it does well.
Yeah, I picked this up as well, and it's for reasons that will become clear very soon. I've not played much of it. I kind of scratched the surface of it, and I like the look of it, and it vibes with me even at the early bit I've been doing. It's kind of reminds me as though it's almost set in the world of. Do you remember The Moor on XBLA?
Vaguely.
It was a kind of like a alien type thing. I'm sure it's by the people who've done like Explosion Man and stuff like that as well, like the developers behind that. And it's kind of got that same cartoony aesthetic to it, and I was like, it could be almost set in that world. It is so well done there, and what it does is it's just, I just, as you pointed out, it's just pure colour. They've definitely had fun with the design of the worlds and the characters and everything around you. And it's just nice to have a game where it's just all about having fun. Because for me, there's still a lot of games that you look at it and go, if this was just fun, it'd be good. It's forgot the fun aspect, but this has still got that even from the early stage. And I think when you want to take from a Metroidvania as your way of exploration, I always think that's a great idea, where you can see places you can go but can't get to yet. I think that encourages exploration so well. And the early stage of this, I kind of look at things going, I can go there later. I can't wait to find out what's behind there when I can get there. But it's the only thing that does put me off a bit. I said I think I played about an hour of it to start with, and it was just like, okay, I get it. Can we like just take the reins off a little bit now? Which, yeah, that's the only thing I think sort of like, I'm just going to put this to bed until I'm ready, because I just want, let the reins off, let me go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a strange choice. It's a little bit of an odd choice on such a simple game, but, you know, okay, fair enough. But yeah, it's fine. It's playable, fun, you know, bright, silly, entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. And fairly cheap from what I can remember as well. Wasn't an overly expensive game.
Yeah, is it around
which
the
is
sort
good.
of 20 mark, something like that?
Something like that, give or take, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a budget title. And it's a big game as well, I would say. Like, you can definitely tell there's meat on it, so you're not paying 20 quid for a 10-minute type game or something stupid like that. There's definitely hours and hours of gameplay just to get out of the opening sort of like tutorial sections.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, one thing I have to point out is it runs like dog whoopsie on the Steam Deck, unfortunately. I think it's UE5, and all UE5 games run so rough on the Steam Deck, and it's actually becoming it's probably something we should talk about at some point. It's actually becoming a bit of a problem now, because just about everything, if it's not using Unity, it's using UE5. And UE5 is dog rough. And I think there's optimizations that could be done to it to make it work better with the Steam Deck, but whatever they are, they've not been done yet.
No, and I do know there's a lot of the people who do all the plugins and the Proton stuff and everything. I know they're working continuously to try and get those improvements, and I can see it one day they will just find a breakthrough just before the Steam Deck 2 rears its head. But I think we are getting to a stage now, we are seeing more and more developers target as they've got like a preset for Steam Deck now. A lot more indie developers. I have been playing another game whose name escapes me that I've been playing, and that just immediately just has a Steam Deck preset to it, which is good to see. So it'd be interesting. I think we're in kind of a bit of a Wild West still with some of the indie developers, because you can't expect them to target Steam Deck when it's just all about making what they can, but also making the game they want to, rather than going, oh, we've now got to fit it all on this handheld PC. But yeah, I think what we're looking at now is can the engines themselves, are they the ones who need to start targeting the Steam Deck moving forward, or Steam Deck 2 as this is our base, this is what all our engines are going to make sure they work on, and then it's up to you what you do either side of that. But yeah, it does run a bit dog's ass on there, unfortunately, but I'm hoping it's one of those that maybe gets added to GeForce Now or something like that, so you get the option of getting the better quality while still running on the deck.
Yeah, that would be handy.
Moving on, something that runs amazingly well on the deck, and is the reason Grand Theft Auto 6 has been delayed until 2026, because it is, and I don't think this is even going to be controversial to say, is going to be the critics and the gamers' choice for Game of the Year in everyone's, because I don't see beyond it. I can't see how anything's going to beat this game. And that is EA Sports F1 25. Yes.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. No, it's Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which, if you're interested in games, even if you've not played it, you'd have heard about it. It is the game from an independent studio that is absolutely showing up Square Enix, it's showing up EA, it's showing up Ubisoft, it's showing up every major corporate publisher out there on how to make a video game. It's a Japanese RPG at its highest level, but it's made by French developers, and it's definitely a French game. It's very French, and it is just to start with, like, just even if you don't play the game for whatever reason, I implore you. I think this whole 8-hour soundtrack that it's got is available on YouTube. Just listen to the soundtrack. I will come on more to the soundtrack in a bit, but just, if anything, just do that. But basically, the setting, like the premise is, you kind of get dumped in this world, and you kind of find out that people get to age to a certain age where their life is basically then snuffed out. You don't know why. You're not explained why at this point, but all you know is once you reach a certain age, you die. And then it explains why this is, and certain people then get to go on these things called expeditions, where they need to go and try and take down this entity called the Patress, because for whatever reason, people, as each year goes by, you get, the younger you are, the more, like, you start to die younger. So it started off like maybe like 99 or something. You'll die by the time you hit 99, but you join the story where anyone who becomes 33 years of age has their gommage, is what it's called, and you basically fade out of existence and die. So anyone who's of age gets to go on an expedition to try and sort of like get to the target of taking down this Patress. And it's you come in, it's your turn to do that, and it's got this just like fantastic story that's, if you've played like things like Final Fantasy and sort of Chrono Trigger or anything like that, they've got interesting stories, and even Persona, they've got interesting stories, but I wouldn't say they are what you would call mature stories. What you get with Clair Obscur is a maturely told story that mixes serious beats with comedic beats, and we're not on about laugh out loud, just hilarity. They're not like written as jokes, they're just humorous moments between characters, and character interaction is just absolutely brilliant. And you start to feel for the characters. There's like a moment towards the end of Act 1 of the game that had me in just full-blown tears and jaw on the floor, and I was just like, oh my god, what have I just been taken through? And it was like, that was only a few hours into the game. But you kind of go, what I just love about it, you kind of going through this story, you're learning with the characters, and you're not sort of going, oh, there's this overall thing, and this is amazing, this is what's going to happen. You're kind of learning as you go. And early on, there's a scene that sets you up as you go on your expedition that is as visceral as the opening, like, D-Day landings of, like, Saving Private Ryan. It's just that visceral and in your face, and just leaves you just going, what have I just witnessed? And you're not even really in control of the game at this point, but you've invested, and it does this brilliant job of investing you in the game. And I'll come to the actual gameplay mechanics shortly, but what it has that just does all this, like, it's got a really interesting story. Visually, it's very lovely. You have to fiddle with it on the Steam Deck to get it sort of like running well, and there's a mod you can get that really improves things, but it was still fine, just a bit ugly before that. But what really does it with this game is the most amazing soundtrack I have ever, and I mean ever, listened to in media, in a game, whether it's a film, whatever. It's created from the ground up by a composer who has never done this sort of work before. He's never made soundtrack for any kind of media or anything, and this is their very first attempt at doing this, but it feels like it's been done by a veteran classical composer, such as the musical beats you get. So you kind of get this overall tone that sets like where you are, and it's like the music does that, and it's just very low key and everything like that. And then you'll maybe have these kind of lighter hearted moments between characters where the music again just subtly changes, and then you might have these really dramatic battles, and again the music just hits home. It like crescendos as you're going into these like bigger battles and things like that, and it is just absolutely mind-blowing how good this is and the emotion it conveys. I've just finished like a big Act 2 battle, and I'm not going into story now, just play it. But I just finished this big Act 2 battle that took me from start to finish, including the exploration, about an hour and a half to get through. But the music just followed it absolutely perfectly. You can feel it building, and then there's drop moments and it builds again. And then you kind of get these moments where it just conveys just every kind of emotion it needs you to feel. And it is just utter perfection. But that would all be great. Great story, great music, lovely visuals, exploration is all great, and everything there. That's all well and good, but in a video game, especially an RPG, a JRPG, if the gameplay isn't there, then there's no point. I don't know what you're meant to be playing. It's like, it could be all good, but you're like, ugh, yeah, whatever. But somehow this has taken the JRPG format and somehow refined it to, I want to say, near perfection again. The Final Fantasy games of late have lost their way. They don't know what they want to be. They're not pure turn-based, and they ended up going more real-time and stuff like that. And I'm not going to lie, I struggle to like get into them or want to like finish them. This, I'm fully invested. So you do your journeys, and again, it's almost Metroidvania in some ways. It's a very linear journey overall with the story, but there's lots of side quests, and there's areas you can open up with different abilities that you get and things like that. But it's not like full on Metroidvania. It's just like slight side areas rather than main path. So you got your journeys, and it's got that thing that Persona had that I really liked, where you'll see an enemy on screen. So it's not just like, oh, you're walking along and, oh, there's a battle. You'll see an enemy, and you can go up to them and you can try and attack them first, and that'll give you a first strike advantage. Love that. I think that's a great way of adding control into a JRPG. And then you kind of go into your battles, and they've got quick time event battles. So you'll select, say, an attack move, and then you've got to press a button combo once you've selected it. It's all turn-based, but you select it, you've got to press a button combo. Accessibility feature, that's auto. You can set that to auto. Well done. Amazing. So I just literally switched that to auto because I'm not very good at time-based, timing-based stuff anyway. Set that to auto, and I could just now go, right, what order do I want to make? What kind of attacks do I want to do? And that's where I concentrate. But again, it's there, it's really good, and it can affect the amount of damage you do. In return, I think it's like the Mario RPGs that do this really well. Where the enemy will attack you, and you get a choice of either dodging or parrying, and there's a couple of other similar mechanics the further you go into the game. So a dodge is a fairly easy window to get, and you can sort of like nail that most times. Or you can do a parry, which is harder to do, but will then do return damage. And you kind of learn through enemy patterns and stuff like that, what you can and can't do, what's easy, what's difficult, when you should use certain things. And what the game does, it teaches you as it goes. You'll get to some battles that aren't going to fail your mission, for example, aren't going to kill you stone dead. And they kind of go, oh, you didn't get that right, let's try this again, kind of thing. And it will teach you like about weak points, or how to best, when do you know how to dodge? When should you parry? When should you actually use this new one? It teaches you all these mechanics by just making you do them. And it's like you get by the time you get to like your full party quota, you get like 5 characters that you can mix into a party. 3 at any one time could be in a party. So you kind of work out what's your favourite balance, and then if your first 3 die, you can then send in your 2 others as a last stand, which is again really, really good and works really well. And they passively level up as well. So if you go in with your main 3 and you beat a boss or you beat an enemy fairly quickly, your backup characters still level up at a decent rate. Not 1-to-1, but still decent. So I would almost say like 80 to 90% of what your lead characters get. So it means you're not suddenly under-leveled with certain characters, and it just works really, really well. And it's the way it has, each character has their proper strengths and weaknesses. So I've kind of got this set up where I've got some good attacking characters and they can go in and do damage. If for whatever reason they're then all taken out, but I've chipped away at loads of the HP of the enemy, my backup character's going, and one of them's a tank pretty much and a healer, just like she can take so much damage and heal, and then her sidekick, her partner that I've set up with her, can then just whittle away at the damage and just survive through, and then everyone gets their rewards at the end. It's so well done, and it's got, like, you could have, like, 3 difficulty levels, and I've stuck it on story mode, but even that's still challenging. What you would usually call, like, your cannon fodder and your minions, even those could be challenging. Like, some, you're not going in and just going one hit, done. You're going in, and yes, some are easier, but you've still got to really think about them. Then you kind of get some bigger enemies that take a bit more effort, and the boss battles are just absolutely epic. You could be in a boss battle for about 30 minutes, and whilst to someone who's not played this game might go, a 30-minute battle, really? It's just, oh my god, it just works so well. And then there's other battles you can do against, like, these, like, this is where it becomes very French. There's, like, a mime characters dotted around, and you can fight them, and they're difficult to beat down, but you earn costumes for your characters. And there's a tank as well, which give them very, very difficult to take down, and they disappear after a number of turns. If you take those down, you get big rewards that you can then use, and so on and so forth, plus loads of other different types of side enemies that you can take on. There's just so much to do in the game, but without it ever feeling overwhelming. And the way I've described it makes it sound like it's another Persona where it's a 100-hour plus game. This is between 30 and 40 hours apparently, but I'm just at the end of Act 2, about to start Act 3. I had to put it down last night after finishing Act 2 because I was just drained emotionally from it. So I'm about to start Act 3, and I'm not going, oh, thank God, I can't wait to get to the end. Whereas with Persona, I think I got to about 60, 70 hours in, and I was like, I've got another 30 hours to go, but I can't drop it now. I just don't want it to end. I don't want the game to end. I want to carry on. The characters have all got brilliant personalities. The designs are amazing. Now, you can put silly costumes on them. Such as, do you know that traditional black and white striped French bathing suit type thing? They can wear that, and silly things. You can put berets on them and so on. But I've just got their normal sort of like starting outfits. And do you know what? The women in it are treated as equals. In fact, like, I think my stage, most of the party are women. And everything, but they're treated as equals, not treated as damsels in distress or anything like that. And it's just really good to see sort of like that kind of equality within the game. They're not dressed differently, so their outfits are the same as the guys and stuff like that, and it just works really, really well. And yes, they might have some weaknesses, but since those, like, the guy, like the main guy character that you have in there as well, he's got weaknesses that aren't just like, oh, me man have this weakness, can't jump as high. Oh, me woman, me jump higher kind of thing. Nothing like that. They are sort of like, okay, this is your battle style, so this is your weakness. The fact is, my tank character, if you would put it, who takes all the damage and is tough as houses, is a female character. And it's really well done. It's subtle, and they don't bring attention to it. But that's how you do equality. You don't point it out. You're not going, oh, look at our women. Look how equal they are. Oh, by the way, here's a sexy dress. Or anything like that. You can put bathing suits on them, but they're silly. They're not going, oh, now's their fan service. No, they're silly. It's a silly little option you can add. And I've not bothered with them because if I go and play for it again, yeah, I'll probably stick silly costumes on them. Moment I don't want to, but it's just everything about this game. It is just consuming all my gaming time. I've got Monster Hunter 2, which is a game I've been waiting for so long. Not Monster Hunter 2, sorry, Monster Train 2, sat on my Steam Deck ready to play, and I'm like, yeah, but Clair Obscur. I want to play that. It is just, yeah, it is game of the year. Nothing. I don't care what comes out now. Because if anything comes out now and can top Clair Obscur, not only if we're having a special year, we might as well give up gaming because it will be the greatest game of all time. Because this has gone straight into probably my top 5 games of all time, along with the likes of Tetris and Super Mario World and stuff like that. That is how good this is. Amazing.
Wow. So you liked it then? That's good.
Nah, it's alright.
Oh, that's so cool. Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, 40 quid. 40 quid for this. Slightly more expensive for the deluxe edition with some extra outfits and stuff. Happily paid that. Gave them the extra money because, wow, this is an independent team that have made this. Put everything else that the big boys have put out to absolute shame.
Certainly sounds like it, yeah. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting this. I've not got it yet, but I'm going to get it. Because the last JRPG I really enjoyed was Bravely Default, or Bravely Default 2, which is about 5 or 6 years ago. And I agree exactly what he said about Square Enix's output. Like, I've not played many of them over the last few years, and that's because they've fallen away from what I think they should be doing, and I just don't enjoy it. So to have something like this is just like taking up the reins and moving it forward in the right direction. It's very exciting, and for an indie studio to have done it so superbly, God, that's brilliant. It almost feels like it's ushering in a new era, kind of thing.
Oh, I definitely think this is what's it called, where you have a moment in time and it's like that's where everyone realises actually this is what we should be doing. What's that called?
Well, there's a few. It could be an epoch.
That's
like that,
meant to be cool.
A measure of time, like an important time, or apex, or something like that. But yeah,
but this is the moment I think where everyone goes, actually, we've been bullshitted for so long now. Let's. This is it. This is where indie games have been taken seriously by many people. But like, I honestly believe this is the game that people who may only have been like, God, I only play the bigger games because they're from bigger studios. I don't touch it. It's because they're just like little 2D affairs and pixelated graphics, or they're full of like they're not quite there. I think this is the game where people have to sit up and go, wow, okay. What else is there? Let's see. And I think developers now, they have now, along with, say, Baldur's Gate, which technically was an independent game, Baldur's Gate 3, but still, I don't think it was because it's the Dungeons and Dragons thing and it's got a lot behind it, but it's on that kind of cusp. This is truly independent, original story. It's not using any prior sort of like fandom or anything to get there. This is the one where I think all developers moving forward have got to look at that and go, that's what we're aiming for. Maybe not like, again, we've got to go for this visual style and actually what, but if we're going for quality, we actually want to give the gamers the best possible time they can have, whether it's through emotions of sadness, happiness, whatever, or just pure out and out fun, whatever you're going for, this is now the yardstick. That's how important and how good this game is. And if you play and you get even to like a third of where I am with it, in terms of enjoyment, then our Game of the Year podcast at the end is going to be very, very short.
Yeah, it'd be like 30 seconds and then done.
Yeah, the Clair Obscur is Game of the Year podcast, sponsored by Clair Obscur, with music by Clair Obscur.
We should do that. Just theme it completely. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. But it is special. And sometimes with me, sure, I can go a bit overboard with my praise for games, but you've only got to look online or look across forums and see the universal praise this is getting. And it went from like a couple of 100,000 sales inside the first couple of days, which is impressive, to people really looking forward to it, to I think it's now it's not top down, it's still going, but I think after 7 days or 12 days, I think it's 2 million sales.
Blimey.
Which is, well done. They deserve it.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy numbers.
It's a shame about Expedition 31, all the way like from 1 to 32 were a bit rubbish. But hey, Expedition 33 is great.
I know, well, they had plenty of chances at it before they got it right. So, yeah.
Finally got there.
God bless them.
But yeah, I've got other games I can talk about, I should be talking about, but there's no way I can mix them with Clair Obscur because it's not fair on those games. So I do apologise for Revenge of the Savage Planet devs.
No, it's all right. It's covered.
It's for what I played, it is enjoyable. It's a completely different game, thankfully. And I'm just glad you weren't playing another sort of like JRPG because it would just be, what's the point?
Yeah, it was knocked out of the park.
Andy Serkis is in it as well, by the way.
Oh, right.
Good guy, Andy Serkis.
Oh, yeah, cool. Oh, yeah. Good fella.
Doing voice work rather than motion capture, I think.
Yeah.
Which is unusual.
Yeah, well, he's got his own studio, hasn't he, for all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see him kept in work because he's excellent.
Yeah, not a gorilla or a monkey in sight. Yeah, anyway, I've not seen one. I mean, I'd put one in just because it's Andy Serkis and he likes being sort of like apes and things like that. Because even in Odyssey, he'd done the motion capture for the ape thing, whose name I forget.
That's right. Yeah, he did.
And played himself as a scientist. Really weird.
Yeah, that is a bit odd. We should start calling him Monkey Circus, really, shouldn't we?
Monkey Circus. That's what he should have called his company, Monkey Circus.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, yeah, if you only buy one game this year, it's 40 quid, get Clair Obscur. I can't recommend it enough. And I've played some good games this year, but this is, it's clear of absolutely everything. And I joke that that's the reason GTA 6 decided to delay till next year. But I think GTA 6 would have struggled to be Game of the Year this year, and that's in big air quotes because I'm not quite sure that's going to live up to the hype. But anyway, I'm not ending on that. I'm going to end on, again, listen to the soundtrack. Just get the soundtrack. If they ever bring out a vinyl, I'm buying it. I don't have anything to play the vinyl on. I'm buying it. That's my whole identity now. Is Clair Obscur.
Brad Obscure. Yeah.
There's your title.
Okay, well, we're not going to top that, so time to leave it there, I think. And as usual, follow us on all the socials. Make sure that you're checking out our content on the website. Join us on Discord if you wish to chat. And until next week, stay safe and stay sane.